Alright. So who here knows what 2 plus 2 is? Yes, Junior.
4.
4. Good job. What is 5 plus 2? Yes, Joey.
7.
Good job. You guys are so smart. So now we're going to increase our math skills, and we're going to learn how to solve one-word problems. Okay?
Word.
And we're going to do it between 1 and 20, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that, okay? We're going to start off by using Legos, okay? So let's say I have 3 Legos, right? And then on this side, I have, let's see how many we have here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So if I have 17 Legos on this side, and I have 3 Legos on this side, and I add them all together, how many Legos do I have now? Should we count them all together? Okay. Yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So what happened when I had 17 Legos on my right side and 3 Legos on my left, and I added them together?
Yeah, 20.
20 Legos. Good job. Alright, so let's do another problem. What about if I had 5 Legos on one side and 5 Legos on the other side? So it would be 5 plus 5. How many do we have all together? 10. And how did you know that, Joey?
I added them.
You added them. Let's see if you were correct. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, good job. Good job. Okay, let's do another one together. So let's say this time I have 6 Legos on the left side, and then I have 7 Legos, or 6 Legos on the other side. That's 6 plus 6. How many Legos do we have all together?
That's 12.
12. Let's see if you are correct. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good job. So now we're going to solve some word problems together, and we're going to be using Legos. Each of you has 20 Legos in your little cup. Okay? So go ahead and put them on the table.
Sorry.
I'm going to read you our first word problem, okay? Once you guys are all settled in, perfect. Okay, so our first word problem is, Sarah has 12 apples, and Brad has 8 apples. How many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? So I want you to do 2 separate piles. I want you to have 12 on one side, and then 8 on the other side. Good job, class. Now, what are we counting? What object are we counting?
Apples.
Apples. Good job. How many apples does Sarah have? 12. Yeah. And how many apples does Brad have?
8.
8. So what are we going to do to find out how many apples they all have all together? Are we going to do subtraction, addition?
We're gonna add.
We're going to add. Good job. Okay, so now I want you guys to put all the Legos together and tell me how many Legos are together now in your pile. So start counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Good job. So how many apples does Brad and Sarah have all together? Yes, Junior?
20.
Yes, that's correct. 20 apples. They have 20 apples together. Now we're going to do a different problem. Same problem, different numbers. Okay, so Sarah has 17 apples and Brad has 3 apples. How many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? So this is a new problem. So I want you to put 2 separate piles. One pile being Sarah's, which has 17 apples, and then the other pile that has 3 apples to represent Brad's pile. Yes.
Why does Sarah have 17 apples, teacher?
Because she just picked more apples than Brad. Okay, will you go to your pile? Oh, you did. Good job. You guys are so smart. So how many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? So what are we going to do? 17
plus
17 plus 3 equals? Can we add all those blocks all together now?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll wait until you guys have an answer. Yes, Joey?
20.
Good job. 20 apples. They have 20 apples together. All right. Any questions so far? Yes?
So does all together mean plus?
Yes. So what it equals.
What it equals.
All together. What it sums all together.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to switch the numbers and we're going to have 10 and 10. So now Sarah has 10 apples and Brad has 10 apples. How many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? So, what are we counting?
We're counting apples.
Apples. Good job. And how many apples does Sarah have? 10. Good job. And how many apples does Brad have? 10. Good job. So if we had to write it down, how would we write it down? 10. Yes.
Plus 10.
10. Good job. And what does 10 plus 10 equal? Can you guys figure it out by using your blocks? Junior, please stop playing with your blocks and count. Thank you. Yes.
20.
20. Good job. 20. Alright, we're going to do a few more, okay, class? Now.
I got 20.
Good job. I'm going to get new numbers. Okay, so our new numbers are 15 and 5. So Sarah has 15 apples and Brad has 5 apples. many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? So what are we counting?
Apples. We're still counting apples.
Apples. Good job. How many apples does Sarah have?
15.
15. And how many apples does Brad have?
5.
Good job. Now, how are we going to write that out on the piece of paper?
15 plus 5 equals
So
20.
we're going to separate it on our piles, 5 on one side and 15 on the other side, because you guys are second graders. Okay, so going back. So did you separate your piles to 15 and 5? Good job. So when we add them all together, what is the number that we get? Count them out. Yes, Junior?
20.
20. Good job. So any questions so far? Yes, Junior.
Why are we using apples?
Because Sarah and Brad enjoy eating apples. And if you have an apple a day, you keep the doctor away. So make sure you eat your fruits and veggies. Okay, so now we're going to make it a little bit harder, okay? So you see that so far all of our answers have been 20. So now we're going to switch it up and get a different number between 1 through 20, okay? So here we go. Sarah has 5 apples and Brad has 10 apples. How many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? So what are we counting, class?
Apples.
Good job. And how many apples does Sarah have?
5.
Good job. And how many apples does Brad have?
10.
Good job. Count. So now you separated your piles?
Yeah.
Good job. So how would you write this down?
5
Okay.
plus
Okay.
10.
And what does that equal? Yes, Junior?
Is it 14?
No, I think you need to recount your cubes, your blocks. Yes, Joey?
15.
15. And how did you figure that out, Joey?
I counted all my Legos.
You counted all your Legos? Can we count your Legos all out loud?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Wow, good job. Okay, so now we're going to change our numbers again.
Okay.
So Sarah this time has 2 apples, and this time Brad has 12 apples. How many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? So how are we going to write this down if we were solving this problem together?
So 2 plus 12.
Okay. And what does that equal, class? Can you show me with your blocks?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have 12 for Brad and 2 for Sarah, correct?
Yeah.
What is this, Joey? I'm a little confused here. What's what?
This is my 12.
This is your Brad?
Yes.
Kyle? Okay,
This
this
is
is
my
your Sarah. Okay. So how many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? Can we count them, please, class? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So how many apples do they have together?
14.
14 apples. Good job. Okay. So now this time we're going to use 2 more different numbers, but I'm going to do it with you using my Legos, okay? So this time Sarah has 6 apples, Brad has 7 apples. How would we write this down in the sheet of paper? Matthew?
6 plus 7 equals.
Perfect. So here I'm going to grab my box so I can do it with you. So Sarah had 6 apples. And Brad had how many apples?
7.
7 apples. Okay. So now we're going to add them all together. And let's count together. How many apples did they have all together? Ready, class?
Okay.
Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So how many apples did Brad and Sarah have all together?
13.
13. Nice. Okay. So now we're going to use 2 different numbers. So Sarah this time has 13 apples and Brad has 2 apples. How many apples do Sarah and Brad have all together? Okay, so how are we going to write this down?
13
13.
plus 2.
Good. Alright, let's solve this out together.
I have a question.
Yes?
Does it matter if Brad goes first instead of Sarah?
No, it does not matter for addition. It only matters for subtraction. But we'll talk about that more next week. Okay? So now I'm going to do the block stuff with you again. And I'm going to do Brad's first. His pile was how many?
13. Oh, sorry, 2.
2. Right, so Brad had 2 apples. And how many blocks did Sarah have, or apples?
13.
Good, so let's count up 13. 4. Alright, are we all set? Okay. So Joey, why does Brad have 3 apples? How many apples does Brad have?
2.
2. Great. So let's add them all together now. And let's count them all together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So how many apples did they have all together?
15.
15 apples.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to give you some problems to work on your own, okay? This is individual work, okay? So I want to see if you guys understand, okay? So now we're going to do same sentence, just different numbers, okay? Sarah has 6 apples and Brad has 6 apples. How many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? Before you guys divide up your blocks, how would you write this down?
6
Uh-huh.
plus
Okay.
6.
equals, and that's what we're going to solve for, the answer. So you guys work on your own. Show me how many apples Sarah has, and show me how many apples Brad has, and then you guys will count them all together, and then I will ask you the answer, okay? Alright, go ahead. Alright, do we know the answer, class? Okay, on 3, we'll shout it out together, okay? 1, 2, 3.
12.
Good job. Okay, so now there's going to be times when we take tests and blocks are not going to be available to be used during the test. So I'm going to show you a different way how to count objects without using these blocks, okay? So go ahead and put your blocks back in your red cup. Thank you.
I think the teacher needs to better.
Okay, so I'm going to use the same sentence that we just did together, okay? So Sarah has 6 apples and Brad has 6 apples. How many apples do they have together? So we said 12, right? And when we write it out at 6 plus 6 equals 8. So now let's say cubes are not available. Well, we're going to draw these and then we're going to count them. Okay? So if Sarah, I'm going to make a chart here. Okay? This is going to be for Sarah, this is going to be for Brad. And Sarah has 6 apples. So I'm going to draw 6 circles to represent the apples. And I'm going to draw 6 circles on this side to represent the 6 apples Brad has together. So then we're going to count these together, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, does that make sense? If the blocks are not available, then you can draw it out.
Okay.
Alright, so let's see. We're going to do a few problems like this, okay? Alright, we're gonna give me some numbers that will get you to 20. Okay. Give me 2 numbers. That is from 1 to 20.
5.
Okay, Sarah has 5 apples. Yes, Junior?
20.
20. Alright, you wanna go a little bit above 20? We definitely can. Okay. So how would we write this down? So Sarah has 5 apples and Brad has 20 apples. How many apples does Sarah and Brad have all together? So how would you write this down?
20.
Okay.
Plus 5.
Plus 5 equals. Now, we're going to do our little chart that I was talking about. We're going to do Sarah on one side, Brad on the other. And Sarah has how many apples?
5.
So how many am I going to draw?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now how many apples does Brad have? 20. So then we're going to draw how many apples? 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, so now we're going to add these together, right, to figure out how many they have all together. So let's count them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So how many apples does Sarah and Brett have all together?
25.
25. Good job, class. Just a few more. Any questions?
No.
How are we feeling about the blocks? And I want you to show me how you're feeling. This means good. This means, I still need a little bit of help, but I kind of get it. Or this means I do not understand when I'm doing addition, when I'm using my blocks. Can you show me? Okay. Okay. All right. We'll do more examples in a little bit by using that. Okay. Okay. So now we're gonna do 5 apples and 10 apples. So Sarah has 5 apples and Brett has 10 apples. How many apples does Sarah and Brett have all together? So how would we write this down?
5 plus.
Good job. And then we're going to do our little section. S stands for Sarah. B stands for Brad. And we're going to draw how many apples for Sarah?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And how many apples for Brad?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh.
10. So now we're going to count them all together as a class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So how many apples does Brad and
15.
Sarah have all together? 15. Good job, class. Okay, so then I want you on your own to grab a piece of paper from your notebook and solve this problem, and I will come around if you need help, okay? So Sarah has this time 19 apples and Brett has 1 apple. How many apples does Sarah and Brett have all together? I want you to show me how you would write it down. I want you to show me how you would draw it out, and I want you to show me the answer. Alright, so how would you write that down? So if Sarah has 19 apples, so Sarah has 19 apples and Brett has 1 apple. How many apples does Brett and Sarah have all together?
20.
How did you figure that out so fast?
Because I did it in my head.
And how did you do that in your head?
I made circles in my head.
You made circles in your head.
You want me to show you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's like an ear word, Joey. Oh, good job.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Good job. So what's the answer, class?
20.
20 apples. Good job. Alright. Let's change the object. What should we change the object to? Let's name another
Cookies.
cookies. Okay, cookies. Okay, this time Sarah has
12.
7 cookies. And Brad this time has 7 cookies. How many cookies does Sarah and Brad have all together? So how would we write that down?
That's 7 plus 7
Equals. Good job. Good job. 14. Now we're going to do this together. Alright. Junior, how many cookies did Sarah have?
7.
So you drew how many cookies?
7.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And Brad, how many cookies did Brad have, Joey?
7.
So how many cookies did you draw?
7.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now let's add them together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
11,
12, 13, 14. And what's the answer?
14.
14. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to pass out a couple worksheets. And you have 3 problems to solve. Okay. Take your time, class, and I will be collecting these at the end of the lesson. So you have about 10 minutes. Okay? Alright, go ahead. Work. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be walking around the class.
I have a question. What does it mean by by 40?
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
What is this number?
So I'd say Larry. Oh, this is my assignment. Larry has 4 pieces of candy. George has 8 pieces of candy. How many pieces of candy does Larry and George have all together? So how are we going to write this down? So
4
plus 8 equals
12.
Alright, now stop the next. This is show me what you learned today. Take your time, class. We still have a few more minutes left before we move on to the next lesson.
Done.
You're all finished? I'm going to take this from you. Do you have any questions, Joey? Do you have any questions, Joey? Okay, we're all done? Okay, so how do we feel now about adding one-word problems between the numbers 1 through 20? Show me with your thumbs. Feeling good? Feeling feeling not good? Good job. Any other questions that you have for me?
No.
Nothing at all?
Can I use the bathroom?
Yes, just 1 second. So tomorrow we're going to be learning how to add between the numbers 1 through 50, within the numbers 1 through 50, okay? Alright class, good job. Now for homework, I'll be passing out some homework for you to take home, so we're going to put in our take home folder. Work on those problems and bring them back tomorrow, okay?
Okay.